Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for one of these videos where I talk about a bunch of songs, albums, musical events, things like that have occurred over the past week that I haven't exactly gotten a chance to talk about at great length. So let's just get straight into it with some songs and other miscellaneous things. Iceage, Ecstasy, the Danish post-punk noise rock outfit with a new album on the way titled You're Nothing, have a new song/music video out. It's chaotic, way more chaotic than the song Coalition that they've dropped recently that I loved, and I'm just loving the intensity behind this track. I caught the band live last night, and it was just really loose, noisy, just, again, chaotic, and I like to say it was like violent apathy. Experimental and psychedelic folk outfit Akron Family has a new track called No Room, with a new album called Subverse on the way. The track is really layered, thick, heavy, as I already said, psychedelic. Definitely check it out. A lot of different parts to this song. It's a nice little, I guess, sort of journey. Boddika and Joy Orbison have a new track out called Fade. There is a compilation album coming on the way, with that track being included on it and a bunch of other songs that they have collaborated on recently as well. For sure, there's going to be some interestingly produced house, tech house, micro house all over this thing. Pete Swanson has a new track out called Life Ends at 30. He's going to have a new record coming out on Software/Mexican Summer. And what I have heard from him before is kind of blended together the worlds of techno, noise, drone, although it hasn't really been, I guess, sort of all that amazing or impressive to me. Although this track, though it does go down that same road, it did really kind of resonate with me a lot more than stuff I've heard from him in the past. It's an interesting song. Tomahawk has a new record on the way coming out like next week, I think, just the start of next week, and there's a song out from it now called Oddfellows. Certainly lives up to the title. The band Ghost, Swedish metal outfit Ghost, has a new song out right now, which is an ABBA cover of the song I'm a Marionette. Not really one of their most popular songs, but still a decent cover. They really kind of make it much darker, much moodier, and of all people, Dave Grohl guest produces it and plays drums on it. So, I mean, what's not to like? The band Abyssal, death metal band Abyssal, has a new LP out. Stream it in full. If you like your death metal extremely sort of, I guess, reverb caked, then this will for sure resonate with you. And on top of that, Panda has a new EP out called the Trust EP. He really goes down like a micro house direction on this collection of tracks, this very short collection of tracks. Much darker, moodier, more ambient, more atmospheric, spacious, and overall just weirder. I mean, he has that kind of like monochrome quality to it that I kind of find in like Nicholas Jar's music. I mean, definitely not as bouncy or as colorful as a lot of stuff that I heard on his last full length. Also, Marnie Stern has a new track out called East Side Glory, new album on the way through Kill Rock Stars. I love this freaking track. And past that, Just Blaze and Baauer have a new collaborative track out called Higher. It is an absolute banger, maybe sort of like banger of the year potential, in my opinion. And from what I understand, this track is going to be included on a new EP that Just Blaze has coming on the way later this year. Rotten Sound, Species at War. This ultra-technical and mechanical grindcore outfit has a new EP out. It is a little more grimy and just distorted than what I heard on their last full-length album, and while that does make it have more of a, I guess sort of a more human quality to it, it feels a little bit more, I guess, sort of living, breathing. It doesn't feel like I'm just hearing a machine. It's still kind of a little too rigid for me, but I think a lot of people get a lot out of how maniacally tight and relentless that this short collection of tracks is. New Order, Lost Sirens. I mean, I think it's no secret at this point that this new album is just kind of like a bunch of extra cuts off of New Order's last major album, Waiting for the Siren's Call. And I mean, what can you really expect at this point from a collection of songs coming from that kind of background? I mean, there are some good cuts on here for sure, like the opening track, which are really melodic, really sweet, but then right after that, with the second song, Sugarcane, I mean, the hook on there especially is just so sweetly saccharine and just kind of annoyingly mindless. You know, honestly, I thought the collection of tracks was likable, but I attribute that mostly to the fact that I personally will admit that I am a New Order fan. I will most likely like much of what they do. They're one of the few groups that I can just sort of point at and say, I'm a fan of them, not just of their music, not just of their albums, but just sort of what they did in music and where they came from as well with Joy Division. I was actually pleasantly surprised by how good a lot of the production was on this album. Yeah, it's simple, it's plain, but I still feel like New Order presents definitely an appreciation for sound still at this point. But I do think this album kind of confirms that after so long, and we're just kind of getting like these warmed over leftovers, that maybe New Order doesn't really maybe have any kind of radical artistic statements left in them at this point, which is fine, you know. I mean, they've made their great, fantastic records. I mean, that's in the past. They've sort of made their mark on music. I'm not really expecting a whole ton from New Order at this point. Oliver, Mechanical EP, this new EP on Fool's Gold Records. It's just a short collection of tracks, French house, electro house, very obvious influences from the Daft Punk and Justice variety. But still extremely catchy and captivating beats, nice build-ups, 4 tracks, $4, you can't really go wrong. Bad Religion, True North, these guys are a California skate punk and just punk rock outfit. And honestly, I've never really been that big of a fan of them, and that's just been the case for me with most clean-voiced punk bands from the late 80s, early 90s. As far as punk goes, Bad Religion has just always been way too poppy for me, too sweet for me, and so, I mean, it's really no surprise that on this new LP, it's pretty much everything that I've always never liked about Bad Religion, but now, at this point, just a little more aged. But, you know, I do give them credit for, even at this number of albums, at this number of years, they're still staying pretty true to their sound. I'm sure fans will dig that, but in my opinion on this LP, I mean, it's just weak hooks, it's a very weak kind of cleaner studio energy, it's weak vocals. I mean, to me, Bad Religion kind of presents like the energy of like a local bar band or something like that on this LP. Especially like on the track Hello Cruel World, which is almost just like an alternative rock tune. I mean, this album to me is just the epitome of just underwhelming punk rock. Shugo, In Focus. This is a new kind of pop album from an up-and-coming Japanese singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, I guess, from this album, kind of a producer. And this thing is just amazingly colorful, it's light, it's layered, bedroom pop with way more ambition than bedroom pop usually presents. I mean, actually, so much ambition, it's almost like a travesty that this dude kind of records under the conditions that he does, because it does not feel like or sound like he put this together in sort of like a pristine, high-quality studio or anything like that, because, you know, considering how lo-fi it is and just sort of how DIY it feels, it's incredibly, incredibly just dense. I think to the point where the technical aspects of the recording of this album kind of holds it back. I mean, if this dude were in a studio with the right producer, I think musically he would be absolutely dangerous. I think what this album does with so little is fantastic, but it still ends up feeling like, you know, sort of ambivalent to me. I still end up feeling on the fence just because I feel like it could be so much better if just the sound were more awesome. Most definitely look out for this guy. I think this guy has a ton of potential. If he were to get a recording setup or something that was definitely a little bit more expensive than what he's working with now, he could do some real damage. Pere, Lady from Shanghai, classic post-punk outfit right here. Some great, fantastic records under their belt, but this new album to me just really kind of felt like a mixed bag of quality and sound, but still all of the weird eccentricity you would expect from Pere. To me, overall, this LP kind of feels like when I'm listening to a Mission of Burma album, in a sense. Like, all the weirdness and all the character and all the personality is still there. They have not let go of that for a second, but it still feels like there's something missing there, whether it's the sound or whether it's the songwriting. I mean, the weirdness is still there, which kind of keeps me hooked in and listening to see if I'll find something that I really end up kind of loving, but it just does not occur. The Joy Formidable, the Joy Formidable. Wolf's Law. I mean, this album is pretty much just like standard indie rock, flowery, blossoming pop hooks with sort of slightly kind of a shoegaze direction coming from the explosive choruses, which are typically layered with lots of not weird, but definitely guitar sounds. I feel like shoegaze and especially noise pop kind of come with an element of experimentation or adventure. As far as that goes, the Joy Formidable does not bring that at all. I mean, I feel like what experimentation they do have on this album, and all their albums really, is just very light, very kind of cursory. They've always been a band that has favored poppy accessibility over just sort of straightforward weird adventure. I feel like they continue with that pattern on this new LP. I would actually say on this album especially, those elements of noise pop and shoegaze are very, very faint. Very faint. To the point where they're nearly non-existent at some points. I mean, on this thing you're getting some strong drums, straightforward guitar riffing and chords, female vocals, a bit of soundcraft. It's really just honestly not scratching my personal itches, and that's it. And the new Widowspeak album, Almanac. I mean, this is dreamy, captured tracks, records, flavored indie rock right here, with maybe a little bit of a folk element, female vocals. It's fine, for sure. Melodies are there. These guys do have a dreamy sound that a lot of people love, that appeals to a lot of people. But for me, typically, this kind of stuff is just not lively enough to kind of keep me interested, to keep me engaged. Not lively enough, not dense enough, not active enough, I guess you could say. But still, if you're looking for that kind of sound, check this out. And the new Maserati LP, Maserati VII, VII. Again, on this LP with Maserati, you're getting tight instrumental rock grooves with sort of a Tangerine Dream appreciation right there hanging in the background. Lots of keys, effects, guitars, a little bit of vocoder too on one track. And the band has admirably bounced back from the untimely death of their drummer, Jerry, who unfortunately passed, but, like I said, admirably and surprisingly, they've been able to kind of keep this hard, driving, very groove-oriented rock sound with a new drummer, bringing all of those aspects that people have come to love in their music, but not really kind of overreaching them or anything like that. I feel like they do attempt that with some longer material on this LP, but still it just feels like too in lockstep with everything else that they've done to really kind of keep me interested for the duration of a whole album, or just, making me feel like there's something to report in a full-length review. And finally, the new Casey Veggies album, Life Changes. This dude is a California rapper. This is his latest mixtape. I first heard of this guy through the full-length Sleeping in Class, as well as his appearance on Tyler, the Creator's Bastard. And everything I've heard from this dude so far has just made me feel like he's kind of like an average rapper. And this LP, or this mixtape rather, this new mixtape, makes me feel the same exact way. I mean, there's just really no change in technical ability or message, or I guess just sort of artistic growth from Casey Veggies on this new thing. I mean, for sure, he is smooth. He definitely puts together some pleasant, sweet, kind of, I guess in a way, sort of friendly, modern, and contemporary hip-hop instrumentals, but there's nothing about the way he raps or the sound of his voice that comes out and grabs me, that makes me want to pay attention to anything he's saying. And when I do pay attention to what he's saying, as far as messages go, he doesn't really say anything that really interests me, or anything that is radical or funny or all that clever or insightful or anything like that. I mean, he just is kind of like a bare bones, just kind of saying what is kind of in vogue right now rapper, without any real kind of definition or personality or anything kind of developed or made up to separate himself from the mess of other dat piff rappers out there right now kind of uploading mixtapes onto the internet. For sure, this mixtape is likable, it's passable, but it's in no way bold or memorable or anything like that, in my opinion. I do think Casey Veggies has potential. He's got flow. He has an ear for, what new instrumentals are and what's popular and stuff like that. But I don't really feel like he's concentrated enough on hammering out his own kind of narrative or anything like that, especially with tracks that have such mindless, pointless choruses like She's in My Car. So yeah, that's how I feel about all those things. Thank you for watching. Anthony Fantano, quickies, reviews, forever.